Now let me show you how to connect the emergency lights and the exit signs to this control panel. This is the internal structure of the control panel. Here is the battery. Here is our 4.3-inch touch screen. Here is the loop terminals. Here is the loop 1 and here is loop 2. Use the screwdriver to open the diffuser of the emergency lights. Here is the AC wires. Here is the communication cable terminals. So here is 2 wires out and 2 wires in. So the 2 wires in just come from here, loop 1. Loop 1 connected with number 1 and number 2 for loop 1. So 2 wires out are connected to the next one. That's number 2. So that is the connection of the communication terminal. Here is the DIP switch. You can set up the DIP switch, the address based on the instruction sheet. So this one is set up number 1 already. Set up with number 1 and loop 1. Okay, this is the connection of the emergency lights and the control panel. So now all emergency lights and the exit signs are connected to our control panel. Now let me demonstrate to you how to operate this control panel. Here is the interface. Number 1 is main panel. You can see all the status of this control panel, such as power supply, battery current, etc. Here we can also see the numbers are connected with loop 1 and loop 2. So here shows 0 because we didn't register any device yet. So next step, let's go to registration. Technique menu. We input the default password. Default password is 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, enter. Okay. Now we can operate the technical menu interface. The first step, we need to register all the devices. Just now we set up the address for each luminaires already. So now let's get them registered. So first one is number 1. Number 1 connected with loop 1. So the location name, we can give it a name, location. For example, usually the emergency lights are installed in a room. So now we call it room. ROOM. Room is the location name. Okay, now register. Okay. And number 2, also in the room. Number 3 and number 4 are exit signs. So we give example for we install them at the stairs. Okay, STAIRS, stairs. Number 3, we connected to loop 2. Okay. Number 4, also loop 2. So now all of them are registered already. Now let's go to device needs to see all the register. Okay, now we can see number 1 2 3 4. And here is the loop number. They are registered correctly. So next step, we still go to technique menu. 1 2 3 4 5, 6. From this interface, we can do more jobs about technical issue. For example, we can do delete the devices. Here we can input the address number, location name, and the loop number. For example, we can input number 1 and the loop 1. So it will automatically search the location name. Here we can perform a deletion. So now we skip this step. Number 3, with this interface, we can enable or disable a single address. Number 4 is the battery capacity test. We can do battery capacity test for a single device or single loop. Function test. So it's the same as battery test. We can do a single address or a single loop. Battery maintenance scheme. This function is to maintain the batteries. Here we can set up the time interval. It can be once a year or twice a year. Next page. Date and time setting. Here is to set up the date and time of the system. Change the password. Here we can change the default password. It can only be 6 digits. Buzzer setting. When any failure occurs, there will be a pop-up screen occur. Later we will show you. So it will buzz. Here with this interface, we can turn it on or turn it off. Function test setting. We can set up the interval. It can be a day of a week. That means every week or every day, this control panel can perform function test set automatically. User data management. The first one is device storage fragment. So if any event record saved to this control panel, so it will generate a fragment. So we can deflag and the battery discard this data. If any battery is failed, it will be saved and we can delete the record. And over here is the event record list data. It can also be deleted. Here's device register list data. Here we can delete all the registered address. Reset to factory setting. Here, so we can reset it to the factory setting, so everything will be clear. So technical manual is very important. So don't let others who are not technical personnel to access this interface. Okay, now we go to main menu. Number 2 is device information. This is very important interface because we can monitor all the devices, all the emergency lights and access connected to this panel. We have 2 modes to check all the devices. The first one, we can check the devices manually. For example, now we input number 1 or just number 1 and the loop number 1. We click check. It will show all the status of number 1. We can see the location name, the working status, battery status, and the battery voltage, current, as well as the circuit status, lamp status, lamp current. Another mode is automatically. We can connect auto. So it will check next luminaire every 6 seconds. So now it's number 1 and number 2, and 6 seconds later number 3. We can also connect next to check the next one or previous one. Okay, number 3 is very important function, fire drill. We can perform a fire drill easily, or when the fire marshal comes for inspection. This function can free the fire marshal's hand. It is very easy, just one click for fire drill. Now let me show you. There are 3 modes of fire drill. The first one, we can do fire drill for a single address. We can put a address, for example, number 1 and loop 1. So, number 1, loop 1. So we can start a fire drill. Can end. Finish. That is number 1. We can also do a fire drill for a single loop. Now, loop 1. Loop 1 are connected with number 1 and 2. Now we start. So now you can see number 1 and number 2 are under fire drill. Okay, end. We can also perform a fire drill by location name. For example, the exits are installed at the stairs. Now we put stairs, S-T-A-I-R. Okay, now click start. Now, 2 exits are under fire drill. Okay, end. Number 4 is event record. We can say any failure, it will be saved to here event record. So now there's no any failure. Later we will demonstrate you failure will be saved to event record. Number 5, technical menu. We demonstrated already. 6 is device list. We demonstrated already. So number 7, it is battery discard record. So if any batteries failed, that means the batteries need to be replaced. So all the addresses will be showing here. About this interface shows the information on this panel, such as the software version, and copyrights, the manufacturer information. So now the windows pop up to indicate the failure. Here it shows address number 1, communication fault. So now we have to go to event record to check the fault list. Now we can see address number 1 have communication fault. So we need to check the connection between the emergency light and the control panel.